video, we're going to talk about relationship jealousy. It can even lead to violence, or, for example, the O.J. Simpson case, it can lead to death.
Game of Thrones, first season, the brother and sister are up in the castle, and the brother has to go and throw the kid off and to kill him. And even though it's evil, I feel kind of bad for the brother.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly K. This is Grizzly True Crime. Welcome to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. Welcome to all my patrons, members, original Grizzlies, which means you were already subscribed, and all the new subscribers as well. It's so nice to see you. Happy Sunday if you are watching this live with me, and if you are watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. If you would like to just skip two parts that you want to see, you can always look at the timestamps, which are pinned in the comments. They're in the description box, and you can also hover over the video and then you can see it like that. Okay, so now we're going to be diving into a summary that I've made for you guys of this case, the murder of Dr. Amie Harwick, or the obsessed ex-boyfriend, oh my word, who's on trial for her murder. So we last looked at opening statements, and we looked at a day 2 summary as well as a day 3 summary. And then what happened was one of the defense attorneys actually got COVID, and so there was a week delay, and then they kicked off again. And since that happened, there was the Cavalcante manhunt, and then I went to Iceland, and all sorts of things. So I've been summarizing and trying to catch up, and finally I can bring that all to you, which is great timing, because this week, Tuesday, on September 26th, is actually when closing arguments will take place. So I think that's really great as well. I hope for those of you who were not able to watch the trial footage that they release late, because it's not live streamed. They're filming it in court, and then they release the footage a day later. So if you've been able to watch it, awesome. If not, welcome. That's what I'm here for. To save you time and to just bring you the highlights. So let's do that. Okay, I'm going to bring my presentation up for you. Going to put this picture over here. Shame. Man, okay. So what I'm going to do is a quick recap of the case, just for those of you who aren't aware. I did forget to tell my patrons that I'm live right now. You know why? Because I'm still busy making a video for all my patrons from all the Iceland clips that I filmed. So I'm so sorry, patrons. Don't worry, that video is coming soon. Okay, just hold on one second. Here we go. Okay, so if you've never heard of this case, don't worry. You can like, you can share. Hashtag justice for Dr. Amie Harwick, or Amie Harwick. Her name is spelled A-M-I-E. Or you can also use Gareth Pursehouse. He's the guy on trial. Grizzly True Crime. And also if you could use hashtag DV awareness, because this is very much a DV case turned into a stalker case. A bit of coercive control and obsession. And it's absolutely horrendous. Mrs. Melissa said, yay, caught another live. Great job as usual to you and the mods. Thank you so much, and thanks for being a member for 10 months. So Dr. Amie Harwick was born on May 20th of 1981 in Selleville, Pennsylvania, and she was the adopted daughter of Penny Kaufman and Tom Harwick. She grew up in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, and graduated from North Penn High School in 1999. In 2001, she moved to Los Angeles and completed her undergrad studies at the California Polytechnic State University. She was a model for Playboy, Stop Caring Clothing, and Coffin Case. She authored a book, she created podcasts, she wrote magazine articles. She was also a personal trainer and released an exercise video. She also had a YouTube channel. Maybe you guys remember it from if you were here for the day 1, 2, and 3 summaries that we did together. Thank you so much, Tamara. Really appreciate it. So you might, if you just look for a YouTube channel, you can look at all her videos there too. And she comes across as a very educated empath. You know, she really cared about people and wanted to help improve their lives. So this case is so sad. Jean said, just have to say it again, I appreciate G and the mods so much, the Grizzlies too. Thank you so much. She loved horror movies, collecting taxidermy, many objects in formaldehyde jars. She was quirky and fun. The camera loved her, and she was becoming a photographer herself. She received her Master of Arts in Clinical Psychology from Pepperdine University and her Doctorate of Human Sexuality from the Institute for Advanced Study of Human Sexuality. And she later became a licensed marriage and family therapist. She loved music, and her favorite was heavy metal. If you have already seen all of this, hopefully this is a good recap for you. And don't worry, we won't go through every single slide here because I want to get to the summaries. If you do want to see slowly everything that I've done here for you, you can check out the opening statements, day 1 and day 2 and 3 summary, because we really did a deep dive to prepare us all for this trial. Mama Bear said, thank you so much, G. Love being a Grizzly. And also want to let you guys know, I really miss being with you for a trial. You know, I really love watching live trials with you. So this one is a little different because, you know, it's delayed footage and all of that. So it's okay. We summarize. Sometimes we've got to summarize, even for copyright reasons and all of that. So that's what I'm doing over here. And thank you for being here with me. I'm very grateful. Tina said, great job, G and mods. Hi, all the Grizzlies. Hello, Tina, and thank you for being a member for 10 months. So Amie loved her family. Her favorite visit every year was the annual CBD cooking baking day, where she would see all her cousins, aunt, parents, brothers, nieces, and nephews. Of course, the visit always included cheesesteaks, pork roll, and Lebanon bologna. She became a well-known therapist in West Hollywood, specializing in family and sex counseling. In 2011 and 2012, Amie filed a restraining order on her ex-boyfriend who was obsessed with her. That's the guy pictured there, although at the trial he doesn't look anything like that. And yet, you'll hear from a jailhouse call with his friends, he's literally giving them fitness advice and saying he expects them to keep up his fitness regime. But like, you know, we don't want to pick on people's appearances here. It's just, he really picked up weight. He changed a lot, and yet he's so arrogant to his friends and like, oh, you should do this and you should try that. And I'm so strong. What I do in my cell is like, what am I? So, okay. So anyway, he once pushed her out of a car on the freeway and once also forced her onto the ground and kicked her in the face. So trigger warning. Okay, this content is for adults only. And it's could be triggering for anyone who's been through DV situations. And remember to share the DV distress signal, which goes like that. Okay? Yes, Stefan. Fitness regime. That's what he literally said. So that's the DV distress signal that you can share. If you see anyone doing that, please call wherever you are, the manager, the police, anyone for help. Maybe don't intervene yourself, assess the situation, but it might not be safe for you at all to intervene. Just call for help. Mama 3 said, loving all you do. I feel all the Grizzlies need to nominate you for a CrimeCon award next year. Please don't do that. That will be my absolute nightmare. I appreciate the sentiment, but you will never see me there. I cannot do conferences and crowds. I'm a homebody. Okay? I don't want to go anywhere. Thank you, Mama 3. You guys go for me, okay? I'll be in my home with Mr. Grizzly and my cat, and that's it. Okay, so, oh man, this case, I'm not going to go through, as I say, everything again. Let me just zoom forward. You could see that Dr. Amie Harwick literally filed protection orders against him and reported him for DV in the relationship they had, which was like 2011 is when they broke up. And this guy in 2020 was still so obsessed that when he saw her at an awards ceremony, he was lying in fetal position on the floor and crying. Yes, and reciting texts from like 8 years ago. Even though he was dating a whole bunch of people on Tinder and Hinge and everywhere, he was completely obsessed with Amie. It's very scary, you know. So we've read through all of this before as well. He literally said to her when they were dating and she was trying to get away from him, which she successfully did, and for almost a decade, he said, things will get worse. Look at this guy. My word. Thank you so much, Angela. Absolutely horrendous. So that's why I say trigger warning. I needed to just show you this. There's one more picture, like exactly that picture later, just so that you can be reminded what poor Amie was dealing with and why she was talking to him the way she was after seeing him at this award ceremony. Like, okay, like we both needed to hear each other out, and she was just trying to diffuse him. And in the end, he broke into a house, allegedly. He's a suspect, right? They say at the trial he broke into a house, he lay in wait, and that lying in wait could actually cost him the death penalty, apparently. He was lying in wait. He was actually texting someone while lying in wait. Whoa. Like, hey, sunshine, and all kinds of things to ladies he was talking to, dating on Tinder and Hinge and things like that. Wow. And he attacked her when she came home. So if you didn't know, she used to date Drew Carey. A lot of people like to remind me of that. Yes, she did. She dated Drew Carey for a little bit there. And actually, just 2 days before her murder in February of 2020, she texted Drew and she said, hey, I know we haven't talked in a while, but I've been doing a lot of thinking about you, you know, forgiveness, and I'd love to get together with you and talk. And sadly, they never saw each other. So he broke into a house. This is not this time. Before this, he broke into a house, destroyed photo frames, wiped her computer, contacted her friends, sent messages to try to sabotage her friendships. He wrote horrible articles about her, particularly on doctors or therapist review sites. He taped flowers to her door. He sang outside her window. I mean, this guy, it's really a deviant aggressor, coercive controller, turned complete obsessive stalker. So now on January 16th of 2020, you know, like 8 or 9 years after they actually broke up, Gareth attended an event that Amie was attending. It was the X-Biz Awards, where he worked as a photographer. She had managed to avoid him for 8 years. His obsession with her reignited, and in 2 weeks, the restraining order that she'd filed against him, that's not correct. We corrected that in episode 3. That she didn't have a restraining order against him at the time, okay? She had previously had one. But he literally screamed at her and said, you ruined my life, and then recited texts from years earlier. She then tried to diffuse it. She was so embarrassed, and she sat down and spoke to him for 45 minutes, and he was making an absolute scene. Amie contacted, sorry, I spelled her name wrong, the A-M-I-E, her parents, and said that if she died, she would like an open casket funeral and an elaborate headstone. She got pepper spray, a security system, and did everything in her power to protect herself from this man, including letting all her friends and family and everyone know, and then she let her friends also track her phone. Yes. So she said to so many people that I've seen throughout this trial, watching the footage, that they all say, well, she said, if something happens to me, it's Gareth. If anything happens to me, just know it's him. That is so sad. So on February 14th of 2020, Valentine's Day, a friend who spent her last afternoon with her said that she was like her tour guide around Hollywood that day. She was talking about how happy she was. Amie was excited to attend a burlesque show with her friends for Valentine's Day, and the show started around 7 p.m. She had a great time, took lots of photos with her friends that night. She had tea with her friends after the show and left the show to go to a bar until around 12:18 a.m. This is a picture of her room, and you could see a picture of the balcony. She was thrown over the balcony. The defense is trying their level best to prove that she jumped over the balcony, maybe to get away from him or something, and that that would have caused her death and not him. However, wow, good luck to the defense. They've all rested their case, the state and defense, so that's why closing arguments will be on Tuesday. And I say good luck to them because the coroner and all the experts have been there and just pretty much debunking that, you know, that she fell off there herself. It's absolutely brutal what he did to her. So the beads of her necklace were scattered all over her room. There were signs of a violent struggle. He'd also strangled her. Horrible. So we're just recapping, then we're going to get into from day 4, okay? Ooh, Kerry, exactly. That if anything happens to me, and we see it in so many cases, huh? If anything happens to me, that's a huge red flag. So if you know anyone in your life that says, if anything happens to me, it's this person. Just red flag that in your mind. Make sure they're okay. Maybe even call the police. I don't know what to say there. It seems like a pattern. When someone says that, we've seen so many times that it really ends really badly. Thank you, Northside Yanks. So on February 15th of 2020 at 1:16 a.m., police officers responded to a Hollywood Hills residential building after getting a report of a woman screaming. Amie's roommate met them at the door and said that she was being assaulted in the home. The roommates had scaled the wall, ran to the neighbors to get help. I still don't know why people pick on this guy. I mean, he did what he needed to do to go out there, get help, call 911 and all of that. They found Amie lying unconscious on the ground after being thrown from her third-floor balcony. She was rushed to the hospital where she later died from her injuries. Blunt force injuries to the head and torso, and her manner of death was homicide. The police found evidence of forced entry into the home and signs of a struggle. Detectives learned that about Amie's fears about her ex-boyfriend and the restraining orders that she'd filed against him. It hadn't just expired. Just to correct that again, her friends said that Amie was terrified of Gareth, and she told them if anything happened to her, it was him, and she kept telling everyone she's so afraid, she can't believe how obsessed he was at this event. She's really worried. She was trying to defuse him, and she said, I've already set my boundary now. I've sent him some texts, but we're done now. And he just wouldn't let it go. He actually sent her like this really weepy voicemail that we can listen to. Oh, man. Horrible. So her ex-boyfriend, Gareth Pursehouse, was arrested outside of a home in Playa del Rey. He was actually with a woman. Yes. After this, he drove home. And some lady that he was dating, who was also on the stand. He met her on Tinder. They hung out for the day, and they were driving off in his red Lexus, and then the cops pulled him over and arrested him. She must be like, really, what a story for her, right? She didn't know that's the kind of guy she was dealing with. So he was charged with 1 count each of murder and first-degree residential burglary, along with special circumstance allegation of lying in wait that means he could face the death penalty if convicted. He was actually initially released on a $2 million bond, but he was rearrested a few days later and held on no bond, which I would assume would then be from DNA evidence, of which they found plenty, also under her nails and things like that. The ringcam footage and all the things that they had to review. You know, initially they arrested him on not as much as they had a few days later, right? Stefan says, drove into the sunset. Yeah. So some of the evidence, a ring cam saw an intruder enter the home, even though he put his hand over it as he got closer. We saw that in one of those day 1, 2, or 3 recaps. So check it out. There's a playlist for this case if you haven't seen it yet. Amie had his DNA under her fingernails. There were also signs that she was manually strangled before she was thrown off the balcony. Gareth Pursehouse, of course, pleaded not guilty, and we will hear in the jailhouse calls later today that he thinks it's a big joke. He's like, oh, I'm officially a bad boy now. And he's like, when I get out, hopefully I'll have a bigger house. Like, oh, man, he just doesn't get it. There's going to be a shock to him when he gets sentenced, let me tell you. Even though he's innocent until proven guilty, and, you know, the jury's going to deliberate. We'll see what they come back with. But they did say when they were showing autopsy photos and things, which they thankfully didn't stream at all or show at all. The Court TV in their summary article said that the jury, some of them were looking away. They were looking at the floor. It was a lot for them, right? It was very intense. So I can only imagine how they feel. If they feel anything like us about this guy, yeah, then the jury should not deliberate for very long, huh? There was the syringe left at the scene that was also part of evidence of his intent to murder her. It was filled with nicotine. It was a lethal dose of nicotine, which is a very odd choice. Also, meaning there was another one as well at his house in the kitchen cabinet. And I must say, I'm kind of glad I can bring you the summary, because like 2 days out of the 11 so far have really been about that syringe and the nicotine. It's just like, move on with it. I know it's important, but man, they went on and on and on about that. But it is very strange. It was found there. It hadn't been used or anything. I still wonder if he would have maybe used it to subdue anyone who intervened, like the roommate or anything like that. Yes, Dr. McJunior says, what? Yes, indeed. Okay, thank you so much, Annette. You said, hey, G, I started watching back when we were all looking for Gabby. You were amazing then and just get better and better. Thank you. You say, I love you so much. Thank you so much, Annette. I really appreciate it. You were an OG. So She documented her encounter with him on Gmail. This is the thing. We know when people, even in the relationship with him, she was taking photos like the ones I showed you just a few minutes ago. She was documenting her abuse. And then even after 8 years of not seeing him, when she saw him at that event, the way that he behaved, she wrote herself an email to document that. That's so scary because like she's speaking beyond the grave about how terrified she was and how his behavior was and all of that. That just, oh man. He's malicious, highly intelligent, and intent on harming me is what she wrote. So we looked at day 1 to 3. It was opening statements. Day 2, there was ringcam footage. A witness, Dr. Hernando Chavez, Amie's friend and colleague, took the stand. And then also Michael Herman, Amie's roommate, who I asked, please be kind to him. You do not know how you're going to react in a survival situation. And from the noises he was hearing in the middle of the night, screaming and everything, there's fight, there's flight, there's freeze, there's fawn, there's dissociate. This guy ran. He heard screaming and everything. He tried to call for her and he ran, scaled a wall, even hurt himself getting over a fence and everything to go and call neighbors for help, who then called 911, who called the police, and then they came. After getting lost for a bit, they came to the house. And they actually looked at him like, well, bro, what's up with you? You're looking stressed, huh? You got some blood on your shirt there. I feel so bad for him. Oh, my word. So this was day 1 to 3. If you've seen it with me, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please go check out those episodes because you might enjoy it because we did it at a much slower pace and I showed you lots of little clips and things, okay? Day 3, Michael Herman, the roommate, was back on the stand, and Officer Feisick was also there with body cam. So we looked at some of that body cam before as well. Okay, Pippi Longstocking says he did his best to get help. Yes, exactly. Oh man, Hilarious says, can you imagine looking over your shoulder for that long? It's absolutely devastating. I mean, even though she, finished her degrees and started a whole new life and new relationships, lots of friends, everything, she really moved on. This guy didn't. That is so scary that she always in the back of her mind would have been a bit worried about him, especially because he was so violent with her in the relationship. So it's not like he was nice to her and they broke up and then he couldn't let it go. He was horrible to her. He was a domestic violence aggressor. He almost killed her before in the relationship. It's really terrible. Laura said, thanks for all that you do. I just joined Patreon as well. Thank you so much for joining Patreon, Laura. I really appreciate it. That's really an excellent source of support for the work that I do. And there's more videos and things coming. I hope you enjoy all the pictures that I put there of Iceland. Okay, so Heather says, a bigger house he will get on his way to the big house. I know, right? Oh, man. She was so beautiful. So I put a reminder up there. This trial is not live streamed as it happens. Networks film the proceedings and then they broadcast them live a day later, which is quite nice because then, it's shorter. Like each day is like between an hour 45 to 4 hours long, which, yeah, it's pretty nice to go through without those long like lunch breaks and things that we normally see, right? YT3 said he was a software developer and photographer. Yes, thank you. Thank you for answering if people are asking what he did. Yes. And ZZ said, double Z, let's hope that stalking cases are treated with the highest concern by LA. They're often put on the bottom of the pile. That's a scary thing. Stalking is very scary. Pinche Becky, 0Fs given, says, for my funeral, I want Grizzly True Crime. The extra? You mean the outro? To be played. Don't go. Oh, the members only one. Don't go. If you guys are members, you'll know about our outro. Yes, indeed. Okay, so now we move on to day 4 summary. Okay? So, day 4, and just know, even if I haven't seen you guys for these summaries for a while, I'm committed. I've been making notes since it happened, right? I was in Iceland, on the bus, on the plane, on the train, making notes for you about this trial. So, let's summarize. And if you don't have the time to watch all of it, I really hope this helps you because I've watched it all and tried to bring you all the bullet points, right? All the best moments and all of that. Hasina says, thank you, Grizzly K, for doing this. Wasn't following the trial, so now we get to catch up. Yes. Yes. I hope it adds value to your time management, to your life. I hope that you enjoyed because I always wish someone would do this for me. Love bullet points. So on day 4, witness Sarah Rowlands took the stand. She was Amie's friend she actually answered it like, if she was still alive today, we would have been friends for 13 years. So she's still counting the years today to present time, which just felt so heartbreaking. But at the time of Amie's death, they had known each other for 11 years. They saw each other every month to catch up. And they asked as well, a lot of the witnesses, a lot of friends, did you ever see her smoking or vaping or anything? And she said no. And all the friends are like, nope. And they ask, of course, because of that syringe that was found with the nicotine in it, right? Okay, so she never saw, she saw Amie on February 10th of 2020. They went on a walk, then they went to dinner. Amie then told her about Gareth, her ex's behavior at the Expos Awards, that he was crying in fetal position. Amie said she was scared of what he might do to her or her clients. I mean, that was quite something to say as well. She was really scared of what he might do to her or her clients. Wow, that's a red flag for how crazy this guy is. Right? Thank you. Zimmy says there's a petition, Justice for Amie, to change DV laws. Thank you so much. I can't remember if we shared that last time. There's a few links that I do have in the description box. If I haven't got that one in, I'll add it in afterwards. Yes, Hokuto-tube, you're thinking like me there. The syringe was for a roommate. I'm thinking the syringe was for for the roommate, or if anyone intervened, then he could subdue them. And then continue with his whatever. I don't even know. Like, what was the plan, dude? Was that the plan, or what was going on? I mean, it's really scary. So they saw each other, as in Sarah, Rowlands, and Amie, on February 14th. They went to a burlesque show together at the Globe Theatre in LA. And she said, quite snarkily, I liked it a lot, to the defense. There's been a lot of snark directed at the defense, even from the judge. That's been quite interesting to watch. The guy it's almost like Will Cook in the Letitia Stark trial, where now he just looks like he's tired and like at a loss. Like, oh, okay. Like, I just want to ask this question. And the judge is like, no, what are you trying to ask? Like, the judge, I like this judge a lot. Gets very snarky. And when they asked Sarah a question about Amie, she said, I hope that she's portrayed as the woman that she is and not the victim who was naive. Because she said Amie was not naive by any means. She was highly educated on the topic. She'd been in this DV situation with them. She was afraid. The red flags were up. She wasn't naive at all. She knew the danger that Gareth presented. You know, and she was putting all these safety measures in place and letting her friends know and all of that. And, I mean, who would really think that he'd be sitting in her bedroom for over 4 hours waiting for her to get home? And that he could break in. I mean, there were ring cams and everything. We could see him on it. Wow. Okay. So, yes, Anita, that's the jailhouse call I'm talking about. We're going to look at later. So that is, I'm just putting the purple ribbon the whole time, which, if you didn't know, is a symbol for domestic violence. So if you could share hashtag DV awareness, that would be great as well as we share this. So here's a text message between Sarah and Amie, where Sarah said, I should probably just meet you guys at the theater. And Amie said, yes, let's do that. And at 1:02 a.m., I mean, she was killed shortly after that, she said, send me the pics on the green couch. And later her friend sent her those pics, but unfortunately Amie never saw it. Yes. Double Z said, Amie did all the right things. She has 2 restraining orders, police reporting on him. Yes. Okay. Shame. And again, you know how we see, let's think of like the Gabby Petito case, right? For example, Brian Laundrie really underestimated, and it's in many cases, I'm just using that one as an example. These perpetrators so often underestimate the amazing friends and network and family and, you know, connection that these victims have. I'm always amazed by that. They completely underestimate it. I mean, you could see this Gareth Pursehouse sitting there in the court just listening to all this. He looks surprised to me. I'm like, whoa, like all these friends, they were so close to her. They were in her life, talking to her every day, some of them. I mean, male friends, female friends, lots of friends, all, you know, from what I could tell, really nice people. And he, this jealous freaking douchebag, can't even, don't get me snarky now. Still on day 4, there was a witness, Patrick Turner, a fire engineer, LA Fire Department. He said that when he got there and he saw Amie on the ground, she appeared unresponsive and dead. That is so sad. Like, he really was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at or what happened here. And they carefully had to assess, because of course the defense were like, why don't you call for help immediately, or why did it take you so long? And they're like, you can't just pick someone like that up or move them or anything if their neck is broken or something. So they had to very carefully take their time to assess the situation. And yeah, he said she appeared lifeless when he first saw her on the ground. He assessed how badly she was injured, and he said, so I hope this is not upsetting. It is an upsetting topic, but I hope it's not too upsetting for any of you. So he assessed how badly she was injured. And he said there was extensive deformity of her pelvic region, extreme softness to the rib area. And he was really, really concerned about her life, you know, at that point of like, this does not look good at all. Linda Wolf said, Grizzly True Crime, it's hard not to snark it up with this one. I know, right? It is very difficult, yes. We're trying just to hold ourselves back a little bit. So, they secured her to a backboard to lift her, and then a gurney, and then she was taken to the hospital. There was a witness, Natasha Paulson, that I'm going to show you clips of now. And she actually met Gareth on Hinge, which is a dating app. She had an accident in January of 2021. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie The Vow. If you haven't, you might not know that about me, but it's one of my favorite movies. It's a romantic movie, but it's really nice. But anyway, it reminds me of that, because in that movie as well, she loses her memory. Like, she has a head injury and then part of your memory's gone. And this lady had an accident where she suffered a head injury and subsequently lost memory from approximately March of 2020. But yet, you see, this all happened in February of 2020. So she could still remember that and her interactions, thank goodness, with Gareth Pursehouse. Wes says, Gizla's always right on the pulse of true crime. Oh, thank you so much. So, that is a picture on the right-hand side of the date of, wait, let me just get her name again, Natasha Paulson. And their first message was, she said, if Grandma hijacked my Hinge, she'd add this. And he wrote to her, Morticia Adams, I'll be Gomez. Because, you know, his pickup lines are. Okay, then. So, they exchanged phone numbers and started texting, and they had one phone call. So now, I do have some timestamps for you so that we can just look at this quickly, which will be here. I'll put it like this. Let me just make this a bit smaller so it doesn't distract you. How about that? And I'm going to put Amie here. Okay. So, 1:43. Yeah, this is about it. And let's make sure you can hear nicely.
Better. Okay, thank you. So could you repeat your answer so that we can hear you?
Oh, sorry. We've communicated through, actually, a dating app Hinge, through text messages, and we had one conversation on the phone.
Let's talk about the dating app Hinge.
Okay.
Describe how it is that you met somebody by the name of Gareth Pursehouse on this app.
So the way that Hinge works is either party can contact whoever they're seeking. It's not like Bumble to where only the woman can reach out first. With Hinge, you have the ability to leave comments on photos or any of the texts that the other person has placed in their profile. And that's sort of the way to open up the conversation. And then if you're interested, you can respond back. That's how we got started. I believe he reached out first.
Now, on this Hinge dating app, are you able to see photographs of the person that you're speaking to?
Yes.
And did you see any photographs associated with the Hinge profile belonging to someone by the name of Gareth Pursehouse?
Yes, I did.
Here at this time, the people are holding what appears to be a profile picture in the name Gareth, be that be marked as people's 56.
I'm just gonna put this at 1.25 speed, okay?
Do you recognize this photograph depicted in People's 56?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize that?
This was his Facebook profile picture and his Hinge profile picture.
And do you see the person that's depicted in this photograph in court today?
Yes, I do.
Could you please identify that person by tell us where that person is seated and what that person is wearing?
He is the second person from the right in the front row here, wearing a navy blazer and what looks like a white polo with dark hair and glasses.
And he just about never looks up when people are identifying him.
Now, I know you said that you met on Hinge. Did you initially start communicating through the application itself?
Yes, initially.
And did that communication turn into other forms of communication?
Yes, it did.
What forms of communication?
We exchanged phone numbers and started texting, and we had one phone call.
Now, I'm going to show, you said that you communicated on the actual app itself.
Yes.
Gareth, at this time I'm holding another page sitting here on the top with what appears to be an exchange of messages. May that be Marcus Peoples 57?
Yes.
Showing what's been marked as Peoples 57. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize that?
That is a photograph of myself on the Hinge app, and that is Gareth's response to me below.
Where it says Morticia Adams with a happy face, Aldi Gomez?
Yes.
When did you start communicating on Hinge?
I believe we matched on Tuesday the 11th, and I know for a fact that we started texting and we had our phone call on Tuesday the 11th of 2020.
Of February 2020. Right? So the event was in January 17th, right, of 2020. And on February 14th, Valentine's Day, Gareth Pursehouse went to Dr. Amie Harwick's house and was hiding. He broke in and was hiding in her bedroom, waiting for her to come home. But yet 3 days before, he's meeting this lady on Hinge and, meeting a whole bunch of people in between. He dated people along the way, but his obsession with Amie just never stopped. It's horrible.
20.
So would you say you started communicating throughout other means aside from the application immediately after meeting on Hinge?
Yes.
And that was through text messages?
Text messaging and then one phone call.
Do you have to exchange phone numbers in order to do that?
You do.
So now they go through, obviously, how it all works and everything. So I'm just going to skip forward. I've written down some timestamps here for you. They now want to show you 1:47:30. Just go... I'm quite there. 1:47. Where were we? 31. Yeah. So he said, "Hi, Natasha." Smiley face. Gareth. She said, "Hey, your area code is familiar." He's like, "San Diego." She says, "Gotcha." He's like, "Yes, I could tell you say what you mean." And he said, "Meaning what one says is equally important."
After the gotcha, I believe is when we had our first phone call.
Now I'm showing you these text messages here on the left that appear to be lighter in color. Are those text messages that you received from the defendant?
Yes, they are.
And as to the ones on the right side with a darker background, are those text messages that you sent?
Yes, they are.
And you said these are text messages that you exchanged on Tuesday, February 11th?
Correct.
Now at the top here, there's a phone number. Is that the phone number that was given to you by the defendant to communicate?
Yes, it is.
Now, was this phone number always labeled on your phone as such?
No, at one point I did change it to his name, but when I took these text messages...
I should think I just accentuated the wrong thing there. Wait. "Hi, Natasha. Gareth." She said, "Hey, your area code is familiar." He said, "San Diego." Gotcha. Yes, I could tell you say what you mean. Okay, so that's him. And then she said, "Meaning what one says is equally important." So the last one I botched the first time around. Okay, so, but the rest we got. Okay, continuing on.
Now you said at some point you also exchanged a phone call on the same day that you initially exchanged text messages.
Correct.
Is that correct? And that was around after the time the text message you sent said, "Gotcha."
Correct.
Now I also want to talk to you about further communication you had with the defendant. Did that continue past February 11th?
Yes, it did.
And that was also through text message?
Yes, it was.
I want to talk to you about Valentine's Day of 2020, February 14th.
Okay.
Did you exchange text messages with the defendant on that day?
Yes, we did.
At this time, the people are holding 2 pages of a series of text messages. May that be marked as people's?
59.
Yes.
All right.
I'm showing you what's been marked as people's 59. Do you recognize this?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize this?
This was the part of the text message exchange that we had on Valentine's Day.
Showing you the
Okay, so let's have a look at it here. Happy Valentine's. That's what he said, you know, because he's really romantic. And she said, hello there. Apologies, it's been non-stop trying to get today's collection up in the shop so it can be purchased. How are you?
the first text message exchange here, Happy Valentine's Day. Was that received by you
Yes, it was.
from the defendant?
Correct.
And at what time?
It was at 12:02 p.m.
Now there is a text message here in blue. Hello there, apologies. It's been nonstop trying to get today's collection up in the shop so it can be purchased. How are you? Is that a text message sent by you to the defendant?
Correct.
And that was at what time?
5:55 p.m.
There's another text message. Oh, that's totally fine. Busy woman. I'm good, just also trying to get everything under the sun done. Happy face. Is this a text message you received from?
I mean, he said, oh, that's totally fine, busy woman. I'm good. Just also trying to get everything under the sun done. And what was he doing? Planning to break into Dr. Amie Harwick's house? I mean, it's quite scary when you think how he was texting. And I say these women because it's not the only one. Later we hear from another one on day 6. On Valentine's Day. And the other lady, the one that he was actually, when he was arrested, she was with him. They asked, did you find it a bit odd? You know, they didn't want to spend Valentine's Day with you. And she's like, yeah, I find that a bit odd, but it is what it is, you know. Her expectations went high for him. Maybe not for men in general on Valentine's Day, I don't know. But she's like, I don't know, man, it just is what it is. But yeah, it was a bit odd. Wow, what he was doing, oh my goodness. Okay, and then she said, I just finished Lordy. So let's just see if there's anything else. He said, yippee. And then she said, watching dudes pick out last minute flowers at the market is amusing. If you catch their eye, they give you a help look. Okay. And then he said, wait. Saturday, 1:57 a.m. That would be after the murder? Shortly after. Ha ha, that's funny. Isn't that crazy? You never said, ha ha, that's funny. So there's a delay you can see in the timing with the text. I think the one is there at 10:48 p.m. He was already sitting in Amie's house. And then at 1:57 a.m. he said, ha ha, that's funny. I just can't even. Runette said, still can't believe that's the same person sitting in court. He looks so different. I know, when I first watched, before I brought you guys the opening statements and the summaries of day 1, 2, and 3, when I was just watching, I'm like, who is that? I'm like, oh my word, that's actually him. He really does look so different. So, yes. Okay. I think that's about it that I wanted to show you from these timestamps. So, of course, this is on Court TV and Law and Crime Network. If you want to watch the full days of this trial footage, which I would always recommend, but if you don't have time, then of course that's what I'm here for, is to bring you the bullet points, the shorter version, right? Okay, so now we're going to continue on with our presentation. I just wanted to give you a little peek there and talk about those text messages that he was sending to this poor lady while he was hiding out in Amie's house and right after the murders. I just can't even, it's just so much. Okay, so let's see where we were at. I just want to see, they exchanged phone numbers, started texting, had one phone call. Literally one phone call, yes. So then there was a witness. This is still from day 4. Witness Guy Holman, City of LAPD Forensic Science Division, as a supervising criminalist. They tested the liquid in the syringe found in Amie's bedroom. It tested negative for other controlled substances, and so it was a lethal dose of nicotine in there. Someone was reminding me earlier in the chat that it actually could take up to 20 to 30 minutes for it to be fatal. So maybe he really was planning on using it on her. I don't know. But what a weird thing to bring along. And he also had another one at his house. Someone in the day 1, 2, and 3 summaries we did which were all 3 separate streams, so check it out. It's on the playlist. Welcome if you're only joining the stream now. We are doing the summary now of day 4 to 11. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of the trial, in case you haven't seen it and you still want to follow the case. So that's what we are doing now. But what was I saying? Oh, someone was saying, what if he was trying to do like a Romeo and Juliet thing? I don't know about that, and he didn't do that. He didn't do that at all. In fact, he was, as we could see, texting women on that very day right after that and saying, oh, that's funny. Imagine texting that after what happened. It's very hectic. Thank you so much. Carol says, this is a great compilation. Many thanks for your work from a R.A. Grizzly. Thank you so much, Carol. Double Z says, man, oh man, texting just as he took Amie's life. He is seriously scary AF. I can't believe he can even text that. And I wonder if that's in his mind, like part of his, alibi building type of like, oh, I was just texting people. I was at home. Or where does he think he was? We could literally see him on the ring cams. So, yeah, we've got that. Anyway, so then witness. Whoa, try to say that's her name. This lady. I was like, I had to listen to it 3 times. Like, how do you spell that again? Sarah Boxton de Quintana, a supervising criminalist at LA County Medical Examiner's Office, also took the stand. Toxicology, there was no alcohol, and I can't say all those other words on YouTube, but you can see it on my slide, right? No controlled substances in her system. Okay, so you could read it there, right? Okay. Thank you so much, Elspeth Sinclair. Really appreciate it. So there's a picture of the evidence of the syringe that they found in her bedroom. Still with the cap on. Not used, but what a dumbass is all I could say. Of course, as usual. Now, day 5, summary. The police arrived at the house at approximately 1:30 a.m. on February 15th of 2020. There was body cam inside the home shown. I'm not really going to show you that now because it wasn't the most interesting. I don't know how else to say it. It's important for the trial and the case. And of course, if we watched it live together, we would have seen it together. But this trial isn't live streamed, right? It's the footage later. So if you want to go watch it, you can watch it on Court TV or on Law and Crime Network. And over here, I'm just letting you know what happened on day 5, okay? Body cam inside the home was shown, and the police were running up the stairs and down the stairs. And eventually, there was one point when you actually saw her cat running up the stairs. I'm sure the cat went to hide. We know she loved her cat so much. She was actually buried with a picture of her cat. Sure, my word. So I think I saw the cat running up the stairs, and just the police were trying to figure out, like, what on earth happened here. There's her jacket, and there's this, and they just, So there's body cam that was shown. Hasina says he doesn't seem to show any remorse in court. He really doesn't. He's very calm. Officer Feisek was back on the stand and said that Amie did not speak or answer any questions because they wanted to know, was she able to? Because they said it sounded like she was struggling to breathe. But, as they testified earlier, that fire department guy said that she looked lifeless. And so, no, she didn't speak, answer any questions. She wasn't able to talk. He observed a puddle of recently dried urine on the floor in the hallway outside of the bathroom. A lot of people speculate that, of course, that would be where the offender, the suspect, tried to strangle her. Or he did strangle her, but not to death, because she died from injuries inflicted on her and then being thrown off the balcony. So scary. Oh my goodness. And so there was this puddle of recently dried urine on the floor. Amie's jacket was on the floor in the TV room. Her phone was on her bed. Her handbag was next to her bed. Amie's roommate said that she was screaming when he ran out. And of course, the defense really went on for quite a while with that. Like, was she screaming the whole time or just when he ran out? And they were really nitpicking that, which kind of started annoying the judge. He's like, just like, get on with it, Snarky judge, we love that. So then there was a witness, Dr. Alan Wu, and he's a professor of lab medicine at the University of San Francisco, one of the lab directors at Zuckerberg San Fran General Hospital. And he said that the nicotine in the syringe is highly poisonous. Yes. Patriot Lady said, wonder if she had any cameras in the house. She actually did in the living room. So they talked all about the Nest cameras and the ring cams and everything. Some cams caught him, like the ring cam outside. Okay. So, Karen if you are excited for the testimony from the male roommate, we watched that together. It's on the playlist. It's actually, we watched for day one, it was opening statements, an entire deep dive on the case and just what it's all about and who's who and all of that. And I think it was on day 2 and 3 on the playlist, which is in the description box for you, that we went over the roommate's testimony and the body cam and all of that. So do check that out if you haven't seen it yet. So then there was a witness, Detective Brian Wetzel from the LAPD. He was assigned to arrest Gareth Pursehouse on February 15th. I mean, it didn't take long to arrest him. And they're like, oh my word, we know exactly, because the roommate was also saying, and friends were saying, and family, like she said, if something happens to me, it's him. And they all started talking about what happened just, 2 weeks before, January, which was actually a month or so before, around January 17th or so. They were saying, well, this is what happened, and she was really scared, and she got pepper spray, and she's terrified of this guy, and yeah, they obviously had the ringcam footage and all sorts of things, and then the syringe that he left behind, and so he was Detective Brian Wetzel assigned to arrest him. That must be quite a cool feeling to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go arrest this guy. Woody says very toxic to kids. Okay. And Amanda said, this is such a tragic case. She was a beautiful and intelligent woman. Yes. So, to prepare for the arrest, they had a briefing and went over photos of him. They identified his vehicle, which was a red 2017 Lexus 4-door. They said he's approximately 6'4" and 230 pounds. I mean, that's a big dude. And he was arrested in his vehicle as he was driving away. They surveilled his house from approximately 2:30 p.m. He was with a female, which was Angela. She says it like Angeli, that's why I wrote it like that, to remind myself it's Angela G, when he was arrested, and he did not struggle or resist arrest. And the reason they say that is because he had a lot of injuries on his body. Scratches on his face, like a black eye, scratches on his arms, on his legs, pretty much everywhere. It was scratched up. I think Amie fought for her life. And of course, he was also jumping over fences and doing things, so he would have got scratched up like that as well. So that's why they made sure. So did he resist arrest? Did anyone injure him during it? So they can then prove that, look at all these injuries he got during this attack. So no one caused any injury to him during his arrest. He cooperated fully. They showed body cam from that day, but they didn't have body cam of his actual arrest, unfortunately. So that sucks. That would have been great to see that. But let me zoom in here so you could see this. I like this detective. Look at him. He's like, yeah, I was going there, arresting him. So there you can see his Lexus. Look at his face here. We're going to see. So trigger warning images for you. Then we're going to see more pictures of him. You're even going to see his torso. Prepare yourself. Prepare your eyes. And so here you could see right next to me him being arrested here. So got that. They didn't show the body cam of that. I'm sure they have body cam, but they didn't show it. So, yes. Okay. Continuing on. Thank you all for being here. I hope you're having a great Sunday if you are watching it live with me. Always appreciate it when you guys come and actually watch the things I make for you, because I love making this stuff for you. If you like it, hit the thumbs up and remember to share. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe so you can join this fantastic community. So yeah, Carol, there was a injection, a syringe filled with a lethal dose of nicotine. Odd, right? You say, this is new to me? Yes. And he had another one in his house, in his kitchen cabinet. Sure. So, day 6. This poor lady, she met him on Tinder. And she was just, I'm just going to get it ready for us. She was excited to meet a new guy and chat to him. And then she's like, wait, what? She was with him when he was arrested. So witness Angela G, she first met him on Tinder, a dating app, and then this was about 2 to 3 weeks before Valentine's Day in 2020. So hearing from these witnesses, it's almost as if after the Expos Awards, his obsession was, reignited, which I don't know if it ever really ended at all. But I don't know if he was trying to make an effort to now date other people, or if that was like a cover life he's trying to create, or what that was. But he was chatting to these two ladies at the same time. So they exchanged numbers to communicate outside of the app. They communicated at least once a day. Gareth initiated conversation with her on February 15th. Again, remember that Amie died at 1:30 in the morning on February 15th? And then he texted 20 minutes later that other lady and said, ha ha, that's funny. Well, here on this day, he initiated conversation with this lady, Angela, the same day that Amie died, and said, morning, sunshine. There's nothing. Okay, there's a few things that get me like raging instantly, but if someone says sunshine to me, or sweetie, or morning sunshine, I'm just gonna lose it. I'm just like, morning sunshine. I'll be like instant block. Anyway, but he said, morning sunshine, and she said, hi. And he's like, what are you up to? This guy's so nonchalant. He just allegedly killed his ex-girlfriend. And he's like, morning sunshine, what are you up to? Wow. Listen, Stefan. So, yeah, they communicated this once a day. And he initiated a conversation. She suggested they go to the beach or for a bike ride. She got a jump bike, which she said is like an electric bike. And he'd never been on one, so she wanted to show him how it was. And she's like you can just hear like the way she talks is almost like, yay, let's have a fun like date day. I can't say date night because it was daytime activities, right? Let's do fun stuff, like the cool romantic comedy stuff. And he's like, let's go to the shooting range. She's like, we can go to the beach. Let's show you with a jump bike. And he's like, or the shooting range. Isn't that hectic? Kathleen says, how did you sleep? Oh no, are we racking up all the things that annoy me now? Imagine morning sunshine. How did you sleep, sweetie? I'll be like, instant block and then name and shame on my second channel. Okay, so anyway, moving on. This lady, shame, man, shame. I can't imagine. She's like, hey, can I come over? She kind of sort of invited herself that day, like, I'm coming over. And then we're going to go to the beach. She's like picturing it in her mind. I don't know, inspired. And he's like, oh, the shooting range. And if she only knew then, I mean, she knows now, what he had just done. Can you imagine how sinister that actually is? I don't know if you guys have seen a series on Netflix called You. A little bit Dexterish, but very stalkerish. And every time the more I hear about Gareth Pursehouse, the more I'm thinking of that series. Like, whoa, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Because, my goodness, when people are around him, not realizing, like, this Gareth, what a dark horse he is. I mean, he's just like, oh, hey, morning sunshine, what are you up to? Oh, my goodness. So, he did not indicate that he was seeing anyone else during the time that they dated. He had mentioned that he had a bad breakup. You know what he failed to mention? Yeah, it was like a decade ago. And he just can't get over it. Now, if someone has a bad breakup and can't get over it, okay, that's one thing. But there's still such a thing as boundaries, consent. She doesn't want it. Leave her alone. Can't stalk, harass, tape a dozen flowers on her door. Wipe her computer, talk to her friends. I mean, seriously, oh man, it just makes me so uncomfortable. She had noticed that day that he had scratches on his face, and later that she also said, and a black eye. But she didn't ask him about it. Which is interesting. I guess it's also just it's just this new guy. I've just met him, 2 to 3 weeks before. And just wanting to have fun and not thinking like, damn, what happened to your eye? They don't know each other that well yet, you know what I mean? Yes, the Angel Rock. I was just reading your message there. Yeah, Mary's like a decade ago. Lol. I mean, he's like baby boying it all the way. You're like, I had a really bad breakup. What he should have said was, I had a really bad breakup. Never mind that he now would be, in any minute now, I'm going to get arrested and charged with the murder of my ex-girlfriend. But then also, I'm talking to other women and dating them at the same time now. Okay, but he was just talking to the other lady. He hadn't actually physically met up with her. But still, this guy, a lying, cheating, stalker, whiny baby boy like you've never seen. Okay, so moving on. Sure. How scary. Also, be careful if you are online dating. Like, just know there's a lot of weirdos, predators, psychos, also fishing in the same pond, okay? Careful. Red flag alert. It's a red flag galaxy there. So, witness Michael Sewell, a senior criminalist, LA County Sheriff's Department, said that they could not determine whose urine it was, but they explained that they did determine it was urine, but they said it would be a separate test to determine the DNA of whose it was. I'm not too sure why they didn't do that. I don't know. But that's how they explained it. So then 2 detectives testified, and they showed photographs of items collected at Gareth's house. So, ew, you could see his shorts, his stinky shoes, his little glovies on the right there. He was wearing his glovies thinking he's like Spider-Man, you know, jumping over the gate into the courtyard there at Amie's house and then breaking through a window and then hiding in a room. Wow. Angela told, that's the lady that he was dating and saw that day. Angela told one of the detectives that she had noticed that he had a black eye, but she didn't ask him about it. So if you're dating someone and it's just been, you know, a few weeks or a few days and they got a black eye, yeah, ask them. I'm not blaming her or shaming her. I'm just saying I learned from these, right? Now, I'm married, so I don't have to learn anything about the dating world, but I'm learning and trying to tell you guys little pointers. If we can take away something, just be like, whoa, if something, I guess we're all true crimers, right? We'd be like, why you got a black eye? What's with the scratches? I think all of us, especially Grizzlies, yeah, it's probably going to turn into some sort of interrogation, isn't it? What's up with the black eye, baby boy? Okay, so day 7. There was a witness, Detective Masterson. He was actually on a lot, on many of the days. He's got like, I think I've got a picture of him later, like longish gray hair. Like sometimes he does the snarky brows. He's a very cool dude. So he's retired now. So he was on the stand again, and they showed lots of photos and asked him lots of questions, of course. And the photo on the right shows broken glass where Pursehouse broke in. So they showed that on 2 of the days. So you can actually see, because I did wonder, well, where exactly did he break in? Because remember, the roommate heard what he thought was like a plate breaking or something. He wasn't sure because he was asleep. And then he kind of woke up and he's like, what was that? I don't know. He's like, maybe Amie dropped a plate or something. And so he watched a little bit of TV and dozed off again. And the next thing, he heard her screaming. And he ran to go ask the neighbors for help. Hope and Fear says, that dating world is rough, G. Yeah, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. I'm so glad I've been married for 10 years. I've been spoken for 12 years. It's so nice. Okay, moving on. So you can see pictures here as well. This is what they call the TV room, because there's a TV in it. But they later said, well, they're just referring to it as the TV room, you know, just to label some of the rooms. But, you know, for urine to be on the floor in one place, her necklaces, that the rosaries, the beads to be everywhere, and in her jacket just like that, and her purse on one side, and the phone on the bed, it really was a hectic struggle that went on there. And I really think she fought for her life. I mean, she knew how dangerous he was. She'd been in a relationship with him before, almost a decade before, but he was so violent and so abusive. So this is horrible. So you can see some of the evidence that they showed, some of the exhibits. This is the balcony that Amie went over. It's a little bit longer than I thought it was initially when I initially saw pictures, but yeah. So I still mean it's probably like a struggle all the way out here. To me, it wouldn't be, you know, her running and jumping off there. That makes no sense to me at all, even though that's kind of what the defense is going with. It's a struggle to the very end. And because there were injuries already to her face, blunt force trauma and strangulation, and to her torso and things, I wonder if he thought, well, if she falls over the balcony, that will hide some of that. Not that it will. I just wonder if he intended to end her life when he threw over the balcony. Probably, but we don't know that. And remember, you're still at this point innocent until proven guilty. But don't worry, there's closing arguments coming on Tuesday, and then the jury will deliberate. It won't be live, but whatever we can see, we'll see together, even if it's a little bit delayed. And even if you go watch it at the networks, come back here, watch it with us. It's always nice to be together and go over these cases, right? So yes, okay. I'm sharing the purple ribbon again for DV awareness. So there was a witness, Louis Topete, LAPD investigator, 2020. He was at the time. He received electronic devices to analyze in December of 2021. As you know, investigations take time. So then he got Pursehouse's laptop and cell phones and things like that. Now, we didn't see his Google search history, But he had so many pictures and so many things. They showed even on his phone, like so many pictures. They didn't say specifically of what, but we can only imagine it would be so many screenshots, I'm sure, of Amie. They didn't say it, but we can guess it, right? Anyway, but they used search terms like Amie Harwick and Dr. Amie Harwick on his computer just to narrow the search a bit. And then they found that he had this file on there labeled whore phone. What a nice guy. Literally whore phone. I mean, wow. Also, when he saw at those Experts Awards in January of 2020, he was screaming and saying, "What are you doing here? You don't even like porn." But like, hello, she's a sex therapist now, dude. You know what I mean? Like, people move on. So even if they dated almost a decade before, and if she told him she doesn't like it or it's not good for mental health or whatever it was, things can change. I mean, it's a decade later. And she was there to support friends. This guy, my word. I know, right? Stefan says, what a name for a file. Yes. What a name. Like whore phone. Oh my goodness. Sorry, YouTube. YouTube is like, that's it. YouTube is like, what did you just say? No, I don't know. I didn't say anything like that. So I was trying to figure out, and the judge wouldn't really let the defense ask the question of, did he have access to her Gmail? I wasn't sure. I wasn't gathering why, so go watch it if you can. And I don't know. I was just like, why can't we know if he had access to her actual Gmail? Because to me it seemed like it, but he's got this file. I even showed it to Mr. Grizzly because he's a software engineer. I'm like, what does this mean? And he said it really is just the location of a file. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean he's got access, and that's kind of what they were saying. But anyway, this was apparently a backup of the Gmail account, and they don't know when exactly this file was named whorephone. Stefan says there's been 7 new iPhones in that time. Oh my word. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that because I just can't believe that he's like so obsessed and so in love and like, please don't leave me. I just want to be with you. But like on his computer, he's like whorephone. Nice. Like he really, I can't even express it. It just makes me so angry. Here is Detective Masterson. That's how he looked at the defense. He was like, what? Had to take a screenshot of that expression there. So these are some pictures of the balcony area. You know, you could see the balcony on the right hand side there and the crime scene tape and, you know, where she probably fell. You could see right next to him as well. So they showed a lot of those pictures too. Yeah, Divine Inhale with Donna Clifford says, classy guy. I know, right? Oh, here's that trigger warning. Yeah, this is the horror hog time. So, day 8. Witness, I don't want to say it wrong. Jorge Posada, a senior criminalist, LA Coroner's Office. He was evaluating the condition of the decedent, Dr. Amie Harwick. And they also performed SA tests, and there was no sign of SA. There was a witness, Samuel Marillo, detective from Los Angeles, and was present when photographs of Gareth were taken at a LAPD facility. So, wow, there he is, and with lots of scratches. But look, this guy, I mean, the way he's like, okay, you could take my shirt off. That's his face right now. Okay, yes. Am I getting a new shirt? That's how his face looks. Look at him. Oh, so shocked. I can't believe it. They arrested me on the same day. My word. Just not get up about this all day long. I'm going to move on. I won't make you guys look at this too long. But look at all his injuries. There's also all over the house, I say there were red stains, but also on this door handle, and they say, yeah, it was blood, and they say it was his, so he must have been quite injured. And yes, Divine Inhale says she must have had DNA under her nail. She did, yes. So the coroner reported on his findings on Dr. Amie Harwick. He said that she had a lot of injuries to her hands. A lot. Knuckles, the side of the hands, back, front, top, everywhere. A lot of injuries to her hands. She fought for her life. There were abrasions and contusions on her legs. She fell 21 feet. Her cause of death was blunt force injuries to her head and torso. And remember, he also had tried to strangle her. Her manner of death, the coroner's like, homicide. So there was no question about that. It's not like, oh, well, Maybe it's from falling off the balcony. I mean, they were like so clear with this. And they said, yeah, there were red stains in her home. She had injuries on her face, all over her body. Now, I don't know. I said it so right earlier. I know what it is because we obviously have heard a lot of strangulation cases, but I won't even botch that. That word, it's, you know, when you've got the redness in the eyes, which is a sign of strangulation. She had that. Nasal fractures, which actually, that was an interesting one that the coroner said, because he said, and sorry if this is upsetting, it is very upsetting. If she had fallen she did fall over the balcony, but if she had fallen over the balcony and landed on her face, there would have been certain types of fractures to her face and nose, right? And he said these nasal fractures are more an indication of her being struck than her falling on the pavement or the ground below. So there were injuries that were consistent with her being first struck a lot, and then there were also injuries from her falling. That's right, Stefan, that's right. Batikia. Yes. This is interesting. Yes, I forgot about this. I think we mentioned this in the 3rd episode. Sunshine said, did the father possibly teach his son the stalking behavior? The father actually does. He did have stalking charges with his ex-fiancée. Yes, we looked at that. I think it was on the day 3 summary. It's on the playlist, so check it out. So yeah, look at his arm. That's sort of the bite. You can see his armpit on the left hand side of the bottom picture there on the right? Armpit from the left that way. Armpit to bicep to the elbow. Look at those injuries. Yes. Look at all the scratches on his legs. Which, I don't know, that looks like it could be from climbing over fences and things like that. So, through the coroner's testimony, graphic photos of the victim were shown to the jury. Jurors turned away. They peered over to those in the front rows of the gallery. Harwick's family bent their heads down. A woman on the defense side of the gallery appeared to also react very strongly. So, if that gives you any indication of how the jury's feeling right now. Wow. Yes. And yeah, that's a picture of him. Yeah, looking different again, but that is a picture of him. I don't know if you guys have seen that. We looked at it in one of the episodes, and it's called Kill Tony, a show. He attempted to be a comedian there, and my theory is that he was probably jealous of her dating Drew Carey, an actual comedian, and then was like, I'm now a stand-up comedian. And if you make it through that episode, if you look for Kill Tony and Gareth Pursehouse, you will find it, and you'll see the worst comedy show attempt of your life. It's horrible. So yes, day 9, the defense filed a motion for a mistrial. I don't know how many they've actually filed. Do you know? If anyone knows here, let me know how many. But they filed a few times. I think it's 2 or 3 times. But on day 9, they filed a motion for a mistrial that was denied. A 3D model of the house was shown. DNA tests were also done. And there was one single source of DNA. Red stains on the living room. French doors, which were Gareth Pursehouse. Gareth's DNA was under Amie's fingernails. And there was a witness, Luis Carranza, LAPD homicide investigator. Ringcam was shown, buccal swab was taken, and there was a jailhouse visit shown on video. So, what I want to show you now is quickly, let me just see where I wrote this from. Okay, here. Wait, let me just get it for you. No, that should be good. So let's play this one. This is Angelia, she says, shame. And I'm going to play the jailhouse interview as well, so don't worry. I've just picked day 4, day 6, and the jailhouse one, which is from day 9 or 10. It's from day 9. We're going to play those for you. So this one now would be from day 6, and this is from the lady that he was with, the one that said, let's go to the beach, or let's, go on this jump bike, and he's like, or to the shooting range. That lady, she was with him in the car. He's driving off, in his red Lexus. I don't know where he thought he's going, but then the police were already waiting for him. They trapped him. They're like, get out the car. You're under arrest. He's like, what? And then we saw the pictures of him like, what? Okay, so let's listen here. I'm going to play it at 1.25 speed again. Of course, if you want to hear it at normal speed and see all the footage, you can watch it on Law and Crime Network. They've actually put it under their live stream section. It's not under the video section, in case you guys are wondering where it is. So let's listen to this quickly.
The cause now pending before this court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Please say it and spell your first name.
Angeli, Angeli.
Okay, first initial of your last name is G.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to lean right into the microphone so everybody
Yes.
can hear you. All right, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Morning.
Do you know someone by the name of Gareth Pursehouse?
Yes.
Do you see him in court today?
Yes.
Could you please identify him by telling us where he's seated and what he's wearing?
Over there, he's in a suit.
Could you describe the color and shirt?
Looks blue and blue.
Blue and blue what? So blue shirt and...
Blue blazer, blue shirt.
Okay, identify the defendant.
When did you first meet the defendant?
About 2 or 3 weeks before Valentine's Day, 2020.
And how did you meet him?
On Tinder.
And for people that don't know, what is Tinder?
It's a dating app.
And you met each other on the actual application?
Yes.
Did you communicate with each other using the Tinder app itself?
For a brief period of time.
Also, note that if you guys think that talking is a little too fast for you, you can actually toggle the little gear switch on this stream and slow it down.
Soon thereafter, did you continue your communication via cell phone?
Yes.
In order to do that, do you actually have to exchange phone numbers with a person?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
And did you actually exchange phone numbers with the defendant?
Yes.
Did you store him in your cell phone number under his name and phone number?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you started to communicate outside of the Tinder application, did you exchange text messages?
Yes.
Did you exchange phone calls?
Yes.
How often would you say you communicated in the 2 weeks prior to Valentine's Day of 2020?
At least once a day.
Can you go on here? No. Okay, you're going to have to...
Sorry,
Yeah, please.
And that could move a little bit too if you wanted to.
No, scoot up. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, that
I'll ask again.
Okay.
Actually, I don't remember my question.
Can you read it back? Thank you.
Question, how often would you say you communicated in the 2 weeks prior to Valentine's Day of 2020? And your answer was, at least once a day.
When you say once a day, would that be either by text message or phone call?
Sure.
Now, when did you finally see each other in person after first meeting on the application?
Maybe a couple days after meeting on the application.
In the 2 weeks leading up to Valentine's Day of 2020, how often had you seen each other in person?
Two to four times.
2 to 4 times?
Yeah.
Now, I know this is an embarrassing question, but I have to ask, were you intimate during any of those meetings that you had with the defendant those 2 to 4 times?
Yes.
Now, I want to turn your attention to Valentine's Day itself, February 14th of 2020. Did you guys actually communicate on that day?
Yes.
Was that via phone call or text message?
I think it was text.
At this time, Your Honor, the people are holding a series of text messages. It's one page. May that be marked as people's next in order?
68.
So, for those asking, yes, this is the judge with a red mic. Yes, indeed.
Showing you what's been marked as people 68. Do you recognize these series of text messages?
Yes.
Do you recognize these as the text messages you exchanged with the defendant?
Yes.
Now, I'm turning your attention to a text message that's in green. Are those text messages that you sent or text messages that you received?
I sent those.
And the text messages that have a dark background, what appears to be a dark gray or black background, are those text messages that you received from the defendant?
Correct.
Now, I'm pointing your attention to the text message in green where it says, "What are you up to, and why haven't you asked me out tonight? Sad face." Is that a text message that you sent to the defendant on Valentine's Day?
Yes.
And did he respond to you shortly thereafter?
Yes.
Now, what time was that?
Looks like about 7 p.m.
Can you see it better there?
6:48 p.m. it says.
And what was his response to you?
En route home, I told you I'm busy all week.
Now,
Isn't he a lovely Valentine? He's literally at that point hiding in Amie's house. And she says, "What are you up to? And why haven't you asked me out tonight?" Because they just started seeing each other. And he's like, "En route home, I told you I'm busy all week." How nice. And then the next day he wants to say morning sunshine. Oh, man.
did you expect to hang out with him that day?
I did.
And why did you expect to hang out with him on Valentine's Day?
We had been hanging out, and I enjoyed his company.
Now, did you find it kind of annoying that his response to you about Valentine's Day was that he'd be busy all week?
Yes.
Did he actually tell you what he was doing that day?
He said he was working on projects with some friends.
Did you find that to be a good
Damn, working on projects with friends.
excuse to not go out for Valentine's Day together?
Not particularly, but it is what it is.
Now, did you exchange text messages the next day, February 15th, 2020?
Yes.
Now, I'm showing you another series of text messages. When was your first communication the next day?
10:59 a.m.
And what was that communication?
He texted me, "Morning sunshine." I said, "Hi." He said, "What are you up to?"
Now, Morning Sunshine, was that the first communication you and the defendant had on February 15th?
Yes.
So he initiated that communication with you?
Correct.
Now, in response to the defendant's asking you, what are you up to, there was a series of text messages here. Just got back from walking dogs. Think I'm going to ride my bike to the beach in a bit. It's gorgeous out. Oh, and getting quotes for a trip. Is that your response to the defendant?
Yes.
What do you mean when you say, oh, and getting quotes for a trip?
I was looking into how much a trip would cost.
What kind of, like a trip?
Out of, to like a vacation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, it's the same.
So, I can't play the whole thing, otherwise we'll be here all night, but I would recommend watching it. This would be from day 6. Watch all of it. I gave you the bullet points, right? So I'm giving you little bits here. But I wonder if it's like, oh, I'm working on booking a trip. If she's like, yeah, I'm going without you, to see how he responds. Or if it's like, maybe we could go on a trip. I don't know, but he's horrible, right? So that would be from day 6, okay? So let's continue on here with what we were busy with of day 9. Just gonna take it. Look at him there. I turned the picture for you when they showed us the ring cam. It was very short blip that they showed us here of him jumping into this courtyard area, thinking he's freaking Spider-Man. He's got gloves on, he's got his socks on and his shoes and his shorts and everything there, and he's like, okay, I'm in. And then he walks up to this camera and puts his hand over it. Oh my goodness. And they did show 3D models of the house as well, which is quite interesting to see if you want to take the time to see that. It showed it for probably 20 minutes or so. But they were showing Amie's height compared to the balcony height here. And imagine his height if he's 6'4", which is also not just like her jumping over. It's much more likely that he threw her over the balcony. Yes. Sherry Smith said he only looked up when the inside of the house was shown, and it seemed like when men took the stand, like checking out his possible competition. In his mind, just thought, what a creep. Yeah, I did see that when they show the inside of the house, then he's looking and almost reliving it all. That's the feeling I got. I'm not sure, but it's just like looking again and, maybe even thinking about where he messed up or what he could have done differently. We've seen criminals do that before, right? So, Jean Davis says, glovies, baby, stalker boy. Yes. Yes, oh my word. He brought his glovies and everything. So when they went to his house with that search warrant on February 15th already, they found the glovies immediately. So now we're going to look at this. That's why I wanted to save time to properly look at this jailhouse call, because my goodness, it would be here. Oh my word, prepare yourself. He literally said, obviously my name is a big thing right now. And I'm not actually going to play the whole thing either, because it's pretty long. I think it's about 38 minutes total. So I would, again, recommend watching the whole thing if you want to. But I put timestamps there for us. Day 9, timestamp 3:34:30. Pursehouse makes jokes and says a publisher could write a book about him. $1 million would be good for his brother. So he's very busy talking about, he said, okay, so Court TV summarized like this. A jailhouse visit video was played for the jury, in which Purshouse's friends visit him. Pursehouse, not seen on the video, mentions a restraining order, wanting all his money to go to his brothers, and things looking bleak, and wanting to write his jokes down, but not having things to write with. Just so you get this. I mean, he also said, I'm definitely not employable anymore if I get out, but that's fine. And then he gives his buddies fitness advice. And he said, I guess I'm officially a bad boy now, right? That's at 3:42:40. So I just want to write this down because we're going to go to 3:34:30 because I'm about to cover it up, and then 3:42:40 just so you can see that. Oh my word. Brace yourselves. And let's just see what we've got here. Oh, yeah. Let's first work through the slide, then we can watch that. So he texted Amie and said, not sure if you're done, because you said, how do we finish this now last night, but if we can meet again. Like, can we meet again? I mean, he just couldn't take no for an answer. So I put that picture there again so that you can just know that she was very scared of him from the relationship that she had with him 8 years prior. So she's responding in a way now with her psychology education as well, and trying to just diffuse him, you know, and responding with empathy, which I think a lot of us in this community, we might respond in a similar way, which is why I want to learn from it and be like, block, report, you know, even at, like, let's say the Experts Awards, don't give anyone like this a time of day, right? If somebody's behaving this way, it's got to be cold shoulder, no contact whatsoever. That's what I've learned from this. Oh, it's so scary. So she said, I think it was really good that we were able to speak last night. I'm sure there's a lot more that you want to process and say to me. But I think that was a lot for both of us. I hope you were able to hear me last night when I said that I was sorry for anything that caused you suffering and that I forgive you for the things you did to me. Because we know he abused her terribly in their relationship. And she's probably thinking, this is like 8 years later and we're still talking about this. But she's trying to talk to the baby boy like, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. I think we both expressed ourselves, you know what I mean? So empathy in a box, okay, dealing with these types of people. No empathy. Empathy is not for everyone. You got to put it in a box and use it judiciously. Don't just dish that out, okay? That's what we're learning. Yes, Pernille said, do not engage. So she said, I think right now it's best to have some space. And I don't mean that in a negative way. See? She's not saying that because she wants to say that. She's saying that to try to calm him down. Like, we need some space, but I don't mean it in a negative way. The past is sad and triggering for both of us. I think we ended our talk last night well. We can be civil from a distance, respect each other, and move forward with our own lives. Yes, Carrie said, and there's not victim blame, but you say she was too nice, and I have been in so many situations. I'm sure many of us here were way too nice. You know what I mean? It's a problem. You got to put your... I'm looking at the box. I showed you guys last time. I put my empathy in a box. Put it in there. And you only take it out when someone deserves it. Be careful with it, okay? Sure, because... yeah, people like Gareth. Those types as well, we know this. If you educate it all on stalking, coercive control, domestic abusers, on narcissists. Oh man, they just love empaths, don't they? Love it. So be careful with it, okay? So then he said, so you're still just gone? Which is exactly my nightmare. And sadly, what I expected. Oh my word, I get so mad at him like when I read this. It feels the same as when I wrote you that long list of what I would miss about you and heard nothing back. Just reaching out into the darkness, trying to stop falling. Okay, keep in mind that he had a file on his computer called Horror Phone about her. Just keep that in mind. That might help people learn what, no matter what they're saying here, all of this stuff, yeah, real dirtbag. Dirtbag behind the scenes, right? So, behind the mask, there's something else. Then, I wish I could do something more, but reaching out to you is a crippling action that I had actually contemplated several times over the past few months. Oh, you mean years, by the way. Just to say to you the word help. Admitting to you how hurt I am is so embarrassing and painful, which demolishes me even more because it used to be I told you every detail about myself no matter what. Wow, this is just horrible. Jean Davis says they only hear what they want to. So if they say one nice word, the aggressor will only focus on that one word. Yep. That's it. Perennial says, I would guess she was kind because she was scared and hoped it would sink in with him. Yeah. So then he said, because she stopped communicating after what she said, right? She must have thought deeply about what she's going to say. So she wrote that, and this was after that Experts Awards, right? Now he just keeps going. He just keeps going, and eventually also sends her a voice note. Wow. I think I just want to check, was that day 10? Yeah, he said, I have so much I need to say. Please, just give me a chance to say it. I think F off would be an appropriate response and then block, right? If we learn from this. So, he said, I don't know how busy you are, and it truly scares me so much more than I can possibly convey to say this. Please, don't just vanish on me. Please, please, don't let me go through that again. She's not responsible for you. My goodness. And there is such a thing as boundaries and consent. Wow. So then he continued and said, even when I was laying in bed last night, I put on Star Trek. In the first episode was Will Riker. Am I saying that right? Riker? I don't know. I don't watch Star Trek. I'm very sorry. Okay. And Deanna Troy, the therapist, going through a bizarrely similar situation. Oh, I wonder why you picked that movie then. I assume Marcy used her psychic powers for that. Okay, manipulation. Man, it just makes me so mad. I want to just quickly, before we watch the jailhouse call, and yes, we can watch it. Remember, I'm not a podcast. So you can't watch me because I'm not a podcast. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a content creator. But the jail call, we can actually watch it because it's also video too. So let me just, I think it was here. Yeah. This is where it's just like a one-liner. January 18th of 2020. After all those messages, then he sends a voice note like this.
I have so much I need to say. Please give me a chance to say it. Going to be good.
Is that call at about 4:26 p.m.?
Yes.
Sorry, that was a bit fast.
But it's January 18th, 2020.
That's correct.
I have so much I need to say. Please give me a chance to say it. Going to be good.
Is that call?
Oh, please. And you can't hear it very well. I had to listen to it a few times, and then I saw that they say, I have so much I need to say. Please give me a chance to say it. I mean, bro, you've just sent message after message after message. You just screamed at her at an event. You literally said what you needed to say at the event. For 45 minutes afterwards, her best friend had to intervene and be like, okay, we're going to go now. And then they went straight to a diner and they were trying to strategize, like, what are we going to do? Like, you need pepper spray, you need cameras, we need to track you and all this kind of stuff. Like, this guy, so freaking manipulative, so obsessed, horrible, scary. Okay, so day 10, we are still going to listen to the jail call. I'm just reminding you because some of you might be like, come on, play it. We're going to get there. Okay, day 10, that's the voicemail timestamp I just played for you. And he said, I have so much I need to say. Please give me a chance to say it. You've said enough. Amy's best friend, Robert Koshland, talked about what happened on January 17th at the Experts Awards when he last saw her, which was for a movie on February 10th. He said he spoke to her every day, told her everything. They were the best of friends. And, I mean, I cannot imagine what he's going through. Knowing also what he knew and what a danger he was and everything, and what this outcome is just so sad. So they'd put a whole bunch of measures in place, and this maniac, even though he's still on trial. I can't wait for him to be sentenced. I really can't wait. Okay, so we're allowed to have our opinions, okay? So anyway, moving on. I can't imagine what he's going through. Amie told him that she was scared of Gareth. She said, if anything happens to me, it would be Gareth. Another friend that she told, of course, her best friend. The final witness was Grace Stanley, Amy's friend for 14 years. They texted every day. They saw each other many times a week. And she was also all torn up, so sad about what happened. She could barely, when she had to identify Gareth, she could barely look at him. And she just started crying. And it was just so sad to see. And it's also where again, you could see that Gareth had completely underestimated her giant circle of very close friends, people that loved her and cared about her so much. And that's what I was saying earlier, you know, oftentimes all of these deviant aggressive stalkers, they have like tunnel vision. They think it's just like the you and me show, but there's a whole world out there. Firstly, no. No means no, thank you, no. How about no? Okay, she's allowed to say no. You're not entitled to her. No one's entitled to anyone. But then on top of that, like, he's so busy here with the you and me show, he doesn't even realize all the wonderful friends she has, the connections, the family, the everything. I mean, wow. Okay. Sorry, Teresa, that it's triggering. We're just about done, Teresa. If you can, still stay here. You don't have to at all. I'm sorry that it's triggering. We're going to just watch the jail call next, which is quite something. The closing statements are going to be on Tuesday, yes. This week, Tuesday, is September 26th. That's when it's scheduled for. I hope nothing goes wrong, because, of course, they did take also a week off because somebody got the Rona. So, shame. That delayed everything as well. So, the state actually rested their case. And then on day 11, which was Friday, then the defense rested their case. So, that was great. I don't think they brought any witnesses. I don't see footage of day 11. I can just see the summary write-up, and it's like, oh, they rested their case. So the defense rested their case. Gareth Pursehouse elected not to testify, of course, right? And closing arguments are scheduled for Tuesday, September 26th, 2023. You could share hashtag Justice for Amie Harwick, hashtag DV Awareness. What a terrible, tragic loss. And of course, I know it's scary, but of course, if it can happen to her, it can happen to anyone. She did everything right. It's so scary. So please be kind in the comments. There's oftentimes friends and family watching. I hope they know this is a safe community. We've got your back. We show you lots of support. And this must be so bad being at the trial and hearing all of this as well. So that is my presentation. Now we're going to watch and listen to that jail call. So let's do that. Let's just see where I got it from. Yeah, I think it's around here. Oh, wait, actually, let me just go. Oh, yeah, I wrote it down. 2:34. So good, I've got it. These two buddies of his, you know. Gotta make it bigger. Sorry about it. Okay, here we go. I hope you can hear okay. Let me just make sure the speed is not bizarre. Because you can see, I listen to things. I'll put it 1.25. I watch Netflix on 1.25 or 1.5 speed. Mr. Grizzly's always like, is that faster? Yeah, it's faster. I listen to things on 1.5, 1.75 or 2 times speed. I love it. I love that all these platforms have that feature. So, yes. Okay, now I wrote down 3:34:30. So let's see, 3:34:30. So I've gone to 3:33:53 just to start from there. Let's have a listen.
What are you doing? Okay, what's up? Lean back. I can see you better if you like. There we go. Now I can see your face. Okay, what's the? You can see us? Yeah, that's right. I can see you. So what's the? What's okay? So we need 6 jokes from your brother. Okay. No, yeah. Turn those into a book. Try to find a publisher that'll give you money ahead of time for that. Like right now, you know what I mean? Just based on my name because of the media, like that could be.
Just like based on my name because of the media, just right now find a publisher that can, you know, write a book about me because I'm so famous right now in the media. And about $1 million would be good for my brother. Yeah. Also, I'm trying to write jokes and just don't have paper to write it on. Like, what? I mean, if you want to get angry, now's your time.
$1 million? I don't know how that shit works. But that would be good for my brother. But I do have a joke for you. What's the most feminine candy bar? Huh? Hershey's. Yeah, you got your sense of humor.
Hey, if Gareth could read body language, he'll know his friends are just pity laughing. Like, you're so funny, bro. You're so hilarious. The most feminine candy bar. Yeah, who's Piggy Boy misogynist? Oh, Gareth Pursehouse. We could also make jokes over here. Oh, we could probably go far with those. We'll have to have a member stream for that.
Humor, making the best of it. Hey, did you get to give you a pen and paper to actually like write stuff on there?
Not yet. I'm trying to get a pencil. I have a piece of paper, but I haven't got a pencil yet. What is it called if someone likes a girl to pee on him? What's it called if a girl if someone likes a girl to urinate on him? Herpes.
Real funny. So mature. Isn't he just such a comedian? You should go watch that Kill Tony show too. He's such a comedian. He's hilarious. Imagine if someone doesn't get my sarcasm and they actually think I mean it. Whoa. I mean, he's like, yeah, I got paper. I just don't have a pencil right now. Can you believe this guy? The jailhouse calls that he's making to his friends?
Pause it out. 22 minutes and 30
Embarrassed now, aren't you?
At this point of the conversation, does he ever mention that anything that happened with Amy was an accident?
No.
Does he ever mention wanting to commit suicide?
No.
I hope they put you. I hope they put you in Gen Pop so you can try your jokes out.
Try my jokes. I already did when I was in another one where I got to try my jokes out.
You hope you get to Gen Pop so that you can try all your jokes out. Ah, I hope you're in solitary confinement for life, bro. Because he's been in solitary. He's like, I'm literally where all the crazy people are. They got me in solitary, you know? But I can't wait to get a Gen Pop because I'm going to like try out all my jokes on them. Can you believe it? Yes, and Kathleen said, considering the crime scene, that was a very bad joke. Yes, the one about peeing on a girl. Yes, absolutely horrendous. Yeah, that's it. Calcification says, I'm getting Lori Daybell's brother Alex vibes. Remember that? Oh my goodness, we looked at that before too. Yes.
But yeah, if you could start contacting publishers, seriously, anyone that can do that, I feel like that's a thing, but it won't last.
You guys don't mind me pausing, right? Hey, can you contact some publishers? Anyone that can do that, I feel like that's a thing. Like, that's really not how it works. He literally is so narcissistic, so absolutely full of himself. He thinks, like, my name's really big in the media right now, you know? So, just get that book published. Come on, find a publisher. I mean, look at this guy's face. It's like, what?
Yeah, you know. Sure. And yeah, so I assume my brother will probably try to move on the weekend. I don't know what you guys are like on the weekend, or if you could maybe coordinate with my landlords and go there on your own if you have time beforehand or something like that. And my brother knows how to get a hold of them. My brother knows how. He has their numbers.
Okay, so that's the only name and number that we need because we don't have anything to write. So
yeah,
your brother's the one that's gonna know.
Are we gonna?
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Vanta Blue. Says, I wish I could see him trying that out in Gen Pop. You actually make a good point. Yes, let's hope he does go there then. Let him try that out.
That's my part. No, mine. Oh, what's my part? Who's the first? No, you fucked it up now.
That's in San Francisco, and then Trump drives you. He'll got it. He has a way to get a hold of everybody. And I think, and find out, he might have got my car out of, he might have picked up my car already, I'm not sure. So if he might need help picking up my car, like to get up here, and get a court, but I'm not sure, because it costs money every day that it's towed, whatever. So he might need help. Yeah, so he might have already got it, but I'm not sure. So it might be helpful if you guys could just go get it. Yeah, so I know he got them to like let it out to not me, but I don't know if he actually physically got it already or not. So that might be helpful if you do that, timing wise. And then you can just put it in my garage at home, and the clicker is part of the rearview mirror.
Have you talked to your roommate or anything? Or not your roommate, but your landlord?
Yeah, my brother did. I've only talked to my brother. That's the only person I've talked to. Glad you guys are here.
Gotcha.
I was beginning to wonder if like no one fucking likes me. No one's gonna come. No one else is probably gonna come. I think you're it.
Hi, Gareth.
Yeah. Hi.
No, hey, Dave and Shameless, we try to all come, but they only let one at a time. Do it. I mean, 1 + 1. So let's do it.
Are they here right now, or they're coming another time?
No. They have to do it. We tried to get it on Saturday, but Dave ended up having to work, and there was a girl that they waited like a year and a half for.
Okay. That's weird. Yeah, a year and a half. Yeah. Okay.
It's like, oh, that's so weird. She waited for like a year and a half. Oh, okay. It's not weird that you like waited for 8 years for something you didn't even have. Like, I mean, the breakup from, wow. He just like, oh, that's so weird. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I guess my whole business ideas are going to happen, Alan.
Oh, hey, and about that the plot of land we were gonna buy and build a house.
Yeah, that's not happening.
We're gonna have to wait a few years for that one, aren't we?
Yeah. And
we're gonna have to wait a few years. When I get out of here, hopefully I'll have a bigger house, he says later.
I'm definitely not employable anymore if I get out. That's fine. So, or not, I don't know, shit. Yeah, if I get the money back, then...
You know, one day at a time, man. Let's try to, get your what kind of footprints they have. Who knows, you might get out, man, you know? Maybe you'll be found in...
right now I just see a tree.
I mean, that's the definition of not good friends. Enabling the behavior. Maybe you'll get out, you know? No, probably not. Probably not. James says, who are these guys he's talking to? It's his friends that he's having a jailhouse recorded call with. So there's that.
Treat it like a knot.
I'm so glad they showed this.
In here. Yeah, I just need my...
Sorry, what? 339. I'm just going to go back a little bit. Wait. There.
Maybe you'll be found in... right now I just need to treat it like a knot, because Hope is a killer in here. Yeah, I just need my brother to be helped so that he can be solid and just go with it and all that, and then and yeah, that's essentially it. So any of the if you get there and the sex toy stuff are still there, just grab it all and put it into, they're all either in drawers in my bed or in a great bucket by my desk and on my desk. So just put those all in the bucket and give them to Angela, who my brother will know.
Do you know what he's talking about? He said it earlier. We didn't listen to it together. But he's talking about what's in his bedside drawers, in a bucket, and on his desk is just so many sex toys. Just like sex toys everywhere. Wow, we could really make jokes about him, can't we? We won't right now. We're just listening.
About him. And he'll have her number too. And yeah, that's the skinny of it and all that. I expect you both to follow my fitness regimens.
I expect you both to follow my fitness regimens.
I still got the Google Doc. Actually, you know what's crazy? Is the last drink I had was at the Laugh Factory. This last time I saw you.
Oh, and that's the last time I had a drink. Oh wait, no, I had a drink after that. But you didn't hit the gym?
Are you guys hitting the gym? Yo, bro, you still hitting the gym? Oh, man. Caroline said, you might get out if an asteroid hits the prison and you sneak out into the chaos. You know what that reminded me of? Danilo Cavalcante. Let's hope this guy never gets out. Luckily, he's in LA and not where Cavalcante was. What? Chester County. Oh, dear. Oh, Indiana.
I've been in the gym every morning.
Awesome. Cool.
Focus mitts with Creepy Jack at 8 in the morning every day.
Oh, cool. I've been doing this thing where you stand on one leg and you put your other leg forward and you dip all the way down and then you lift all the way up with your hands held out. It's really difficult, but it's super strengthens your legs.
It like super strengthens your life. This guy's literally giving his buddies now clocking out like, what the hell? He's giving them fitness advice. You know, because he's not only Spider-Man out there, but now he's Superman in his cell.
Oh, nice. Yeah, they had a YouTube video. I remember when I was getting my DUI, that they have a whole, prison bed, tricep workout, and they have, all these workouts that you can do right yourself.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of them. It's the only thing to do just to pass the time. So, yeah, I've been getting creative with all that shit. And,
you don't have TV or nothing. They don't give you shit, huh?
There's a TV out in the hallway, so I'm laying on my back watching it, on the ground by the door, which is fun. There's only 5 minutes to go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I got you. Yeah, that's true.
What's that?
I go, there's a TV behind. I said, there's a TV behind you, but then I realized that this is not your cell that you're in.
No, but it's the same thing. There's a TV.
Okay. Smart. They're like, well, there's a TV behind you, but I just realized this is not your cell that you're in right now. Oh, man. But he's making it's so, bro talk. It's fine. I just try to do my little tricep dips in my cell. I'll be fine, bro. What?
In the living room, or the hallway, whatever the fuck, and you can see it from your door. And, when I was first brought in here, they had me on suicide watch, so I was sleeping. I had a tarp, a poncho made out of tarp, plastic tarp, as clothing. That was my clothing, instead of real clothes. So now I'm wearing normal clothes now, but yeah, before it was a nightmare for like a week. I was wearing a tarp. not the most comfortable thing. I guess I'm officially a bad boy now, right? I've always been kind of.
No, you won that game. Yep.
Speechless? I'm officially a bad boy now, huh? And they say, yeah, you won that game. Okay. Dr. Amie Harwick died with this game of this loser not being like, guess I'm officially a bad boy now.
Neato, I'm a bad boy now.
I'm gonna have to change my Twitter handle to quasi bad boy.
Medium boy.
Diet boy.
Yeah. Are people giving you shit for being friends with me?
No,
not really.
No, we've really been adamant to anybody who did bring it up that nothing's been decided yet. You've only been accused. You haven't been convicted of anything. Everybody's entitled.
Shame. These guys need to raise their standards on who they're friends with. Oh man, isn't it just so infuriating? And isn't it just such a sign of narcissism that he's like, so is anyone giving you shit that you're talking to me? Huh? How am I being perceived out there? I know my name is like really big in the media. We're talking like $1 million or so for a book. But others, how are they perceiving me? How do they talk about me, huh? Like, wow.
To the presumption of innocence, due process.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know.
It was some shit to wake up to, man. I'll tell you that much.
It was what?
I said it was definitely some weird shit to wake up to.
Oh, gotcha. On Sunday on Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay.
They put it on TMZ on Saturday night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they like 20 armed gunmen took me right outside my house. It was insane. And a girl was in the car with me. I was taking a girl home. So the girl from your birthday party. I was taking a girl home, and then they're like all these SUVs stopped in front of behind my car and like had machine or like rifles and handguns pointed.
Now he's trying to make it sound like a movie. Like, so cool, guys. When I got arrested, there were like all these guys around me with like rifles. I was actually just like driving a girl home. This is so hectic.
Stabbing and shotgun.
Is the second arrest or the first?
First. The second was the same thing. The second one was at an In-N-Out. The first one was at my house.
Oh wow, so she was right there with it?
Yeah, she was not pleased, obviously. Actually, yeah, it was confusing. And then
Confusing? It's like she was not pleased, obviously. Surprised they didn't arrest him at a Walmart, huh? The second time.
Sorry, she was there for a while, and I was in the back of the car, and I watched her eventually get taken away. They drove her home.
Oh, I can imagine what she's thinking.
To her forever home. Did you hear that? As if it's like, a dog going to their forever home. Ooh, I can't anymore. This is too much, you guys. It's too much. We already heard what I really wanted to show you was like, I'm officially a bad boy now, right? So if you want to listen to the rest of this, you go do that. It's day 9 of the Gareth Pursehouse trial footage. It's 3 hours, 44 minutes long, the whole day of day 9 on Law and Crime Network or Court TV. I believe it's Court TV's cameras that are there filming it, and they're buddies with Law and Crime, as far as I understand, and so they share it on their various platforms. So if you want to watch the whole thing, though, the easiest way on YouTube is on Law and Crime Network, under the live stream section. Oh, man. That was just so horrible. So I really feel for Amie's family and friends. Imagine watching that at the trial and just seeing what an absolute joke this all is to him. Horrible. So Linda says, phew, thanks to you, that was plenty. It was, right? That was plenty. At some point, we're like, okay, yeah, that was enough. So I hope that you found the summary valuable, that I saved you time if you weren't able to watch all those days from day 4 up to day 11. Day 11, I don't see footage, but they said that the defense rested their case on day 11 and that Gareth Pursehouse said he's not going to testify. And then it was scheduled, the closing arguments were scheduled for Tuesday, which will be September 26th. But just remember, everything's a day delayed with the footage, right? They're going to film it on Tuesday. If it happens on Tuesday, that's when it's scheduled for, so it should. On Wednesday, Law and Crime Network will probably be live streaming that footage from the day before. I'm also explaining this because people will be like, no, they are live streaming it. Look, but like they've explained it themselves. They film it, they release it the next day as a live stream, but it isn't happening live, okay? They should really just do a premiere. That would make more sense. But anyway, the point is, they'll live stream it probably on Wednesday. I'll be watching it, okay? And then bring you the summary. That's what we'll do. Okay, I can't just stream while they're streaming their live stream. That's just not copyright, okay? Can't do that. So I'll bring you either summaries or clips, or we'll see if we can what we can do. We'll watch those closing arguments. The prosecution has been great, and the defense has tried their best. That's all I could say about them. Judge, ultra snarky, he's got his boundaries in place. Like, he's such a cool dude. The judge, a no-nonsense kind of judge. We really needed that judge at the Burgos Aviles trial. That would have been amazing. Because, like, no more sidebars. No more of this. And I'm like, oh my word, he's amazing. So we're going to watch that, okay, probably on Wednesday. So if you are not yet subscribed and you want to follow this trial along with us over here, all the Grizzlies, we love to be together when we watch all these things. We love it the most when it's a live trial, right? But anyway, so we'll be together again probably later on Wednesday or maybe even on Thursday. We shall see how it all goes, what time it all gets released and all that. And if you want to follow other cases that I'm covering, then yeah, subscribe as well. And click it again and say all so you do not miss out on notifications. So that was a summary. If you only joined the stream now, welcome. Happy Sunday to you. If you're watching the replay and you made it all the way to here, then thank you so much for watching all the way to here. Probably then you saw my timestamps. And you probably saw that jail call, didn't you? So I am going to do those timestamps now. And I'll see you guys again very soon. There's always lots of cases to talk about. And please make sure you check out my community tab. Okay, you know where it is, right? You got to check out my community tab and my YouTube shorts, because you know sometimes there's like a little update, like in this Australian death cap mushroom case. There's one update so far, okay, is that fourth victim has made it. He survived. Ian Wilkinson is actually now out of the hospital, which is amazing news. So that is on my community tab, or sometimes I make shorts or both. So make sure you check that out as well. Because if there's like a one-liner update, I'm not going to go live. That'll be so awkward. Let's go live for a one-liner. I don't do that. I don't do that. So we got to make it work. And so please make sure you check out all the different formats that I offer you. I'll show you quickly here. 1 second. Welcome to Waffle Time. Yeah, it would be, this is my channel. And if you just quickly look here, see there's home, videos, shorts, live, in case you didn't know, because some people are like, where is it? But there's some things under videos and there's some things under live. If I've done a premiere, it's going to be stored over here. If it's live streams, it's going to be here. If you want to follow a case like this one, it's under playlists, okay? And you can go and scroll through the playlist and find it. Or type in the search bar, Gareth Pursehouse trial, Grizzly true crime, and you should find it. Or Ellen Greenberg, Grizzly true crime, or whatever it is. Yes, and that Ian Wilkinson survived. He survived, oh my word. So you can check it out there. The shorts are here. Okay, if you want to join, just membership and all of that. Very easy. If you're not sure, if it's me you're talking to, by the way, follow all my official links on grizzlytruecrime.com. I do have impersonators. Unfortunately, a lot of us YouTubers do. There's some of them on Twitter. There's some of them on TikTok. They're all over the place. There's some of them on YouTube too. So just make sure that you're not DMing with someone who's chatting it up with you. And it's not me, okay? I'm not a chatter like that. So a lot of people have emailed me recently to say, oh my word, I was DMing someone. I thought it's you. It's not me. So yes, thank you so much, Sister325. You said, thank you, G. Gotta watch the rewind. If you haven't yet, please like this video, this live stream, and share it. Please share it with hashtag DV awareness, because this case, oh man, for coercive control, domestic violence, stalking, it's all of those things. People can learn from these. You know, that's what we always try to do. So, one more message quickly here. Pistol Amie said, I'm catching up. You talking about listening to stuff at 1.25 while I'm currently listening at 1.5 was hilarious, right? Sometimes it's 2 times speed. Wish they had it 3 times speed. Come on, YouTube. Thank you, Pistol Amie. Thank you so much to everyone who supported the channel with a sticker today or became a member. Sorry, patrons, that I didn't actually get to the proper update I was going to do for you. I'm still making you a video of all my little Iceland clips, okay? So that's coming. I hope you guys will be excited for that. It just takes some editing time, you know? I want to make it nice for you. So that'll be on Patreon videos. And there's also photos and things over there. Members, we'll have a members only stream again very soon. Either on the balcony time, or we'll snark it up here in the studio, or I'll take you on a cycle or something. We will do something very soon again. So thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you, mods. And I will see you all again very soon. Maybe tomorrow. We shall see. Okay. Stay safe. Bye.